We begin now at the top of Daf Lamed Vav Amud Beis in Maseches Brachos. This is Berachos Daf 36b. The Gemara was in the middle of discussing the tzlaf, which was the caper, and the Gemara says that according to Beis Shammai, tzlaf by definition is a suffix whether it is orlah or not. It's a suffix whether it's a fruit or not, so it's a suffix orlah. And the Gemara said that in chutz la'aretz, according to the halacha, in chutz la'aretz, a suffix orlah is mutter. So the Gemara is in the middle of asking, why, according to, if we follow the lenient opinion when it comes to, in chutz la'aretz, when it comes to orlah, why don't we allow tzlaf altogether? The Gemara here is finishing the Mishnah, which talks about what you can do with a suffix orlah in chutz la'aretz. So the Mishnah says, v'lo keach, you can go down to a field and buy from a non-Jew, meaning you can even put yourself into a suffix situation. Let's say you have a non-Jew who's going to be who's in chutz la'aretz, he's cutting for you the suffix orlah. You don't know if he's going to give you young fruits, which are orlah, or he's going to give you older fruits, which are not orlah. You're allowed to go buy from him. Uvilvad shelo yirenu locate. As long as you don't see him taking from the younger fruits, as long as you don't explicitly see from the younger, so it's not a suffix anymore, but you can even go put yourself into a situation of a suffix. That's how lenient suffix orlah is in chutz la'aretz. So the question again is, why don't we follow Beis Shammai? Why are we only following the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, who allows the shell of the tzlaf? You should allow tzlaf altogether because it has a status of suffix orlah. The Gemara answers, Rabbi Akiva b'makom Rabbi Eliezer avdinan kevase. When it comes to Rabbi Akiva against Rabbi Eliezer, we can pass on like Rabbi Akiva. We could say we go like the lenient opinion. However, Beis Shammai b'makom Beis Hillel ain't a Mishnah. When you have Beis Shammai versus Beis Hillel, that's not even anything, and we don't even consider that a lenient opinion. We don't consider that an opinion at all that we take into account, and therefore the most lenient we can be is to follow Rabbi Akiva. Therefore, the Gemara ends up concluding that when it comes to tzlaf, the fruit itself is not mutter as orlah, but the shell that you can use even if it's in the first 3 years. The Gemara now says though v'tepikle denasa shomer lepri. When we're talking about the shell of the tzlaf, the shell of the caper, why don't we say that it's aser as orlah? Because it is a shomer, it's a protection for the actual fruit. V'rachmana amar va'araltem orloso es pirio. As hatafel lepirio, even that which is tuffle to the fruit is considered orlah. Umayni shomer lepri. That includes the shomer of the pri. So even forgetting everything we're talking about, whether or not the shell has the status of a fruit or not, it's at the very least it's a shomer for the fruit. So why is it should be a problem for that reason? Amar Rava says, Heicha amrin denasa shomer lepri. Heicha deise bein betalosh bein mechuber. When do we say something has the status of a shomer for the pri? That is if it's in existence, whether the fruit is attached or not attached to the ground. Hacha b'mechuber isa, but over here, when it comes to the tzlaf, when it comes to the caper, the shell, the protector is only there when it is attached to the ground. Betalosh, let's say it does not, it's no longer there, it falls off when you detach the caper from the ground. So the Gemara now asks a question. Eisvei Abaye asks from a Mishnah on this idea that if the shomer of the pri, if the shell of the pri falls off when it detaches from the ground, that it's no longer considered a shomer. He asks from the following Mishnah, Pitma shel rimon. If you have the pitum of the rimon, the stem of a rimon mitztarefes, that counts towards your shear when it comes to tumas ochlin. V'haneitz shelo ein mitztaref. But the nates, which is the shell of the rimon, that is not mitztaref for the shear of a kabetza regarding the issue of how much you need for tumas ochlin. So midika amar haneitz shelo ein mitztaref. So Abaye says, from the fact that it says the nates does not count, al madalav ochelu. You see, it's not considered food. Utanan gave orlah. Yet it says regarding orlah, klipe rimon v'haneitz shelo, klipe agozim v'garin chayav borlah. It says it's chayav in orlah, and this is true even though this is the kind of shell that falls off. So Elam Rava, rather Rava says, Heicha amrin denasalu shomer leperi. When do we say it's a shomer? Heicha deise b'shas gemar pira. That's only true when that shell is there, when the fruit is gemar pira, when it's ripened. High kafris, but when it comes to the kafrisin, with the capers, when it comes to the shell and the capers, less a b'shas gemar pira. They don't exist by the time of the gemar pri. So the Gemara says, Ini, is that really true? Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rabba bar Avua. But Rav Nachman says in the name of Rabba bar Avua, Hani mischli de orla. When you have, these are talking, referring to dates here. When you have dates, when you have the shells of dates of orla, asira, they are asur. Hoa v'nasu shomer leperi, because they're a shomer for the pri. V'shomer lepiri emeshave. Now the Gemara says, when are these things a shomer for the dates? Bekufra, it only happens when they're very small before they're ripe. V'kakari le shomer leperi, and that's also called a shomer to the pri. So you see that it doesn't have to be when it's ripe. So the Gemara answers, Rav Nachman savar lo Rabbi Yossi. No, Rav Nachman, who says that the shell of the dates is aser because it's a shomer for the pri, it's aser orlah, he actually holds like the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. It's a shitas yachid. The Tanan we learned in the Mishnah. Rabbi Yossi says smadar aser mimneshu pri. Rabbi Yossi happens to hold that smadar, which is the early stages of the grape, it is aser because it's considered a pri. But the Rabbanan argue on this. So he happens to be going like the opinion that even in the early stages, it doesn't have to be. It's still considered to be a pri, and it's aser because it doesn't have to be ripe. It's still aser as orlah. But the Rabbanan disagree. They say in order to be aser as orlah, it has to be ripened, and therefore, according to that opinion, the same would be true. The shomer has to be there when it's ripened. So the Gemara says, "Maskif lo Rav Simi min Nahardai." Rav Simi from Nahardai asks on this. You just said that Rav Nachman holds like Rav Yossi, who's a das yachid, but he's not really a das yachid when it comes to other trees. Only by grapes they had that argument. Uveshar ilone mi pligi Rabbanan aleh. Do the Rabbanan really argue by other trees? V'atanan we learned in the Mishnah. Me'emasayin kotetin asailanos b'shvias. From when are you not allowed to cut the trees in the Shemitah year? Beishamai omrim kol ha'ilanos mishayotziu. Beishamai say all trees go from when the fruit begins to come out. Beis Hillel says hacharuvin misha yishrshu v'hagafanim misha yigru. So the vine is misha yigru. We're going to see what that means. V'hazeisim misha yanitzu. The olives when they begin to start to blossom. U'sha'ar kol ha'ilanos misha yotziu. And other trees, they say it's even when the fruit just begins to come out. Now, so the question is, who is the author of this Mishnah? So Ravasi says, V'yomer Ravasi says, Hu bosar, hu garua, hu pol halavan. When we say the word garua, when we say by the vines that the shear of when it's considered a fruit is garua, it's the same as bosar. And that's also the same as pol halavan, the white bean. The Gemara says pol halavan salkadaita. We're talking about white beans. We're talking here about grapes. Elaima shiuro kapol halavan. He means to say that the shear of bosar is when the grape is the size of a white bean. So the Gemara says, Man shamad le damar boser in smadar lo. Now, boser is a later stage than smadar. Who is the one that says that grapes are only considered ripened when they reach the boser stage and not the smadar stage? Rabbanan, it's the Rabbanan. V'katani shar kol ha'ilanos mishayotziu. And yet they say, the same Rabbanan say, that other trees, the moment it comes out, it's considered a fruit. And therefore it's also to cut it down in shvius. And the same would apparently be true by orlah. We do not have a good answer. Elama Rava, rather Rava says, Heicha amrinan to have a shomer lepri. When do we say that a shomer is considered a shomer for the pri? Heicha dechi shakalt leila shomer mayis pira. It's only true in a situation where if you take away the shomer, the fruit will die. Hacha ki shakalt le lo mayis pira. But over here, when we're talking about the caper, when that shell is taken away, the fruit will still survive. And this is ultimately the answer the Gemara gives. That's why it's not considered a shomer for the pri. So it comes out, according to Rabbi Akiva, again, the shomer of the caper, the shell of the caper, you are allowed to eat. It's not considered orlah. It's not considered a fruit. And it's also not considered a shomer because it does not protect it to the extent that if it's taken away, the fruit will die. He says there's actually a story like this, where they took away the shell of the rimon of the pomegranate and it dried out. But when it came to the bitisa, which is just another term for the, we're talking about the caper over here, when that shell was taken away, it did survive. So you see, it's not considered a shomer, and therefore you can eat it. It's not considered a problem of orlah. This little part here in the parentheses was put in by the Gaonim. The halacha is like Mar Bar Ravashi, that when it comes to orlah, you throw away the fruit part of the caper, but you can eat the shell. From the fact that the shell is not considered a fruit regarding orlah. Brachos nami lav piraninu. When it comes to bracha, also we say the same thing. It's not considered a fruit. It's ella bori priadama. We don't make a bracha bori priaetz. Rather, we make a bracha of bori priadama. The Gemara now continues with the discussion about pilpuli. Pilpuli means pepper. It's not referring to the vegetable of the pepper. It's referring to the spice, the item which you make the spice of the pepper out of. Pilpuli, what's the halacha? What's the bracha? Rav Sheshes Amar Shahakol. Rav Sheshes says if you chew this pepper and you eat this pepper, it's a shahakol. Rava Amar Lo Klum. Rava says you make no bracha at all. V'yaza Rava l'taime, and Rava follows his opinion. Da Amar Rava says kos pilpuli b'yom kippuri. If he chews on this pepper on Yom Kippur, potter, he's potter. It's not considered food. Kos is on gavila b'yom kippur. Similarly, if you chew on ginger on Yom Kippur, potter, also you're potter. So Meisvei asks a question from the following: Brayso Hayer Rabbi Meir Omer Mimashma Shenemar Varaltam Orlah Soas Piryo. From the fact by orlah that says pri, it says you can make orlah out of the fruit. Eini Yodea She'etz Meichelu. Obviously, we're talking about a tree which bears fruit. Elamat Tamad Lomer Eitz Meichel. Why does the same pasuk have to refer to the tree as an eitz meichel, lahavi eitz shatam eitzo upirya shava. It includes a fruit where the wood and the fruit have the same taste. Ve'ezeu zeu pilpulin. This refers to pepper. L'lamed chasha pilpulin chayavin ba'orlah, teaches us that pepper is chayav in orlah. Ulalamed chashain Eretz Yisrael chasra klum. It also teaches us that Eretz Yisrael is missing nothing. Shenemar, like it says, Eretz asher lovim eskenus tochal balechem lo sechzer kabal. Nothing is missing in Eretz Yisrael. So the question here is, pilpulin clearly seems to be chayav in orlah, clearly seems to be edible. You should make a bracha. So the Gemara says, lo kasha, it's not a kasha, haber retifsa, habi avesh. It depends if it's moist or if it's dry. If it's dried out, it's not really considered food. But if it is retifsa, if it's moist, it is considered food. Amri le rabbanon lemeremar. So the rabbi said to meremar, kosan gavila biyoma de kippuri pater. It says that if you chew ginger on Yom Kippur, you're pater. Ve'amar Rava, but Rava says hay hemalda da'asmi behandui, which means that this kind of, it's also made of ginger, a jam that comes from behandui, comes from India. Sharia, it's permitted. Umevarchin oleh bori pre'adama, and the bracha is bori pre'adama. So it seems like a food, and you make a bracha on it. So how come you're pater on Yom Kippur? Gemara says, lo kasha, it's not a kasha, haber retifsa, habi avesh. Again, the same answer. It depends if it's moist or dry. If it's dry, it is not edible. The Gemara now continues, chavetz kedera. Chavetz kedera refers to a cooked item. You're cooking together flour, oil, and honey. V'chein daisa. Also, if you have this is crushed wheat, something made out of crushed wheat. Rav Yehuda Amar shahakol niya bidvaro. Rav Yehuda says you say shahakol. Rav Kahana Amar bori minei mizonos. Rav Kahana says you say mizonos. B'daisa greda kuli amalo pligi debori minei mizonos. Everybody agrees that daisa itself alone is mizonos. Ki pligi b'daisa ke'ein chavetz kedera. What we're talking about is what if it's daisa that is ke'ein chavetz kedera, which means to say that you're adding in some honey. So Rav Yehuda Amar shahakol savar duv she'ikar. Rav Yehuda says it's a shahakol because the honey becomes the main thing. So you're basically saying shahakol on the honey. Rav Kahana Amar bori minei mizonos savar smida ikar. He says no, the flour is the main thing. So you say mizonos. Amar Rav Yosef says kivasi de Rav Kahana mistabra. It makes sense like Rav Kahana, de Rav Shmuel, Damri Travayu. Rav and Shmuel both say kol sheyesh bo mechamesh haminim. Anything that has within it from the 5 species of grain mevarchin olav bori minei mizonos. You make a mizonos. Gufa, going back to the statement we just quoted, Rav Shmuel Damri Travayu. Rav and Shmuel, they both say kol sheyesh bo mechamesh haminin mevarchin olav bori minei mizonos. Anything that has within it from the 5 species of grain, it gets a mizonos. V'yitmar nami, it was also said, Rav Shmuel Damri Travayu, kol shehu mechamesh haminin mevarchin olav bori minei mizonos. Anything that is from the 5 grains, you make a mizonos on. Now, those two statements, these two statements of Rav Shmuel seem almost identical. One is saying that anything that has within it from the 5 grains, and the other one that anything is of the 5 grains. So the Gemara says, why do you need them both? Tzricha, we need them both. If we said the second statement of anything that is of the 5 grains, I might say that's because that's not in a mixture. That's right there, we could see it. But if it's through a mixture, that would not be the case. So the Gemara will continue this discussion on the top of Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph in the next video.